Hi, my name is Ben Curet, and I'm the pastor of the Gainesville Seventh-day Adventist Church here in Gainesville, Florida. If you're watching this video, I think it's safe to assume that you want to read the Bible this year. And so do we. Maybe you've read the Bible 100 times. Maybe you've started 100 times and never finished. Or maybe you've never read the Bible for yourself at all. Our prayer here is that no matter who you are, that the reading of God's Word would be a blessing on your life. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell on this video because we are going to be posting 1-hour segment every single day until we are done. Our goal is to get this done in 72 to 73 1-hour blocks or 2.5 months. If you'd like to read along with us, we're reading out of the New Living Translation. And if we stutter or mispronounce something, I ask that you be gracious with us. With all that being said, let's jump right into it, a 1-hour segment of the reading of God's Word. I'm reading from 1 Chronicles chapter 1, starting in verse 17. The descendants of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The descendants of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah. Shelah was the father of Eber. Eber had 2 sons. The first was named Peleg, which means division, for during his time the people of the world were divided into different language groups. His brother's name was Joktan. Joktan was the ancestor of Almodad. Sheleph, Hazamarveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Dikla, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab, all were descendants of Joktan. So this is the family line descended from Shem: Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah, and Abram, later known as Abraham. The sons of Abraham were Isaac and Ishmael. These are their genealogical records. The sons of Ishmael were Nebaioth, the oldest, Kedar, Adbeel, Misbam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tamar, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedema. These were the sons of Ishmael. The sons of Keturah, Abram's concubine, were Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. The sons of Jokshan were Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abidah, and Eldah. All these were descendants of Abraham through his concubine Keturah. Abraham was the father of Isaac. The sons of Isaac were Esau and Israel. The sons of Esau were Eliphaz, Ruel, Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. The descendants of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, Kenaz, and Amalek, who was born to Timnah. The descendants of Reu were Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. The descendants of Seir were Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. The descendants of Lotan were Hori and Hemam. Lotan's sister was named Timnah. The descendants of Shobal were Alvin, Manahath, Ebal, Shepo, and Onam. The descendants of Zibeon were Aya and Anna. The sons of Anna was Dishon. The descendants of Dishon were Hemdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Keran. The descendants of Ezer were Bilhan, Zaavan, and Achan. The descendants of Dishan were Uz and Aran. These are the kings who ruled in the land of Edom before any king ruled over the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor, who ruled from his city of Dinhabah. When Bela died, Jobab, son of Zerah from Bozrah, became king in his place. When Jobab died, Husham from the land of the Temanites became king in his place. When Husham died, Hadad, son of Bedad, became king in his place and ruled over the city of Avith. He was the one who destroyed the Midianite army in the land of Moab. When Hadad died, Samlah from the city of Masrekah became king in his place. When Samlah died, Shaul from the city of Rehoboth on the river became king in his place. When Shaul died, Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, became king in his place. When Baal-Hanan died, Hadad became king in his place and ruled from the city of Pau. His wife was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, and the granddaughter of Me-Zahab. Then Hadad died. The clan leaders of Edom were Timnah, Alvah, Jeheth, Aholibama, Elah, Pinon, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. These are the clan leaders of Edom. Chapter 2. The sons of Israel were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Judah had 3 sons from Bathshua, a Canaanite woman. Their names were Onan, and Shelah. But the Lord saw that the oldest son, was a wicked man, so he killed him. Later, Judah had twin sons from Tamar, his widowed daughter-in-law. Their names were Perez and Zerah. So Judah had 5 sons in all. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Zerah were Zimri, Ethan, Heman, Calcol, and Darda, 5 in all. The sons of Camri was Achan, who brought disaster on Israel by taking plunder that had been set apart for the Lord. The sons of Ethan was Azariah. The sons of Hezron were Jeremiel, Ram, and Caleb. Ram was the father of Abinadab. Abinadab was the father of Nahshon, a leader of Judah. Nahshon was the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse's firstborn son was Eliab. The second was Abinadab. His third was Shemaiah. His fourth was Nathaniel. His fifth was Radai. His sixth was Ozem, and his seventh was David. Their sisters were named Zeriah and Abigail. Zeriah had 3 sons named Abishai, Joab, and Ashael. Abigail married a man named Jether, an Ishmaelite, and they had a son named Amasa. Hezron's son Caleb had sons from his wife, Azubah, and from Jerioth. Her sons were named Jesher, Shobab, and Ardan. After Azubah died, Caleb married Ephrathah, and they had a son named Hur. Hur was the father of Uri. Uri was the father of Bezalel. When Hezron was 60 years old, he married Gilead's sister, the daughter of Machir. They had a son named Segub. Segub was the father of Jair, who ruled 23 towns in the land of Gilead. All these were descendants of Machir, the father of Gilead. Soon after Hezron died in the town of Caleb Ephrathah, his wife Abijah gave birth to a son named Ashur. The sons of Jeremiel, the oldest son of Hezron, were Ram, Bunah, Oren, Ozem, and Ahijah. Jeremiel had a second wife named Atara. She was the mother of Onam. The sons of Ram, the oldest son of Jeremiel, were Maaz, Jamin, and Eker. The sons of Onam were Shammai and Jada. The sons of Shammai were Nadab and Abishur. The sons of Abishur and his wife Abihail were Aban and Molid. The sons of Nadab were Seled and Apaim. Seled Seled died without children, but Apim had a son named Ishi. The son of Ishi was Sheshan. Sheshan had a descendant named Alai. The sons of Jada, Shammai's brother, were Jether and Jonathan. Jether died without children, but Jonathan had two sons named Peleth and Zaza. These were the descendants of Jeremiel. Sheshan had no sons, though he did have daughters. He also had an Egyptian servant named Jarrah. Sheshan gave one of his daughters to be his wife of Jarrah, and they had a son named Attai. Attai was the father of Nathan. Nathan was the father of Zabed. Zabed was the father of Ephlal. Ephlal was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jehu. Jehu was the father of Azariah. Azariah was the father of Helez. Helez was the father of Elasa. Elasa was the father of Sismai. Sismai was the father of Shallum. Shallum was the father of Jechamiah. Jechamiah was the father of Elishama. The descendants of Caleb, the brother of Jeremiel, included Mesha, who became the father of Ziph. Caleb's descendants also included the sons of Marasha, the father of Hebron. The sons of Hebron were Korah, Tapua, Rechem, and Shema. Shema was the father of Raham. Raham was the father of Jorkim. Rechem was the father of Shammai. The sons of Shammai was Maon. Maon was the father of Beth-zur. Caleb's concubine, Ephah, gave birth to Haran, Moza, and Gazez. Haran was the father of Gazez. The sons of Jaddai were Regem, Jotham, Geshan, Pelet, Ephah, and Shaph. Another of Caleb's concubines, Maacah, gave birth to Sheber and Tirhana. She also gave birth to Sha'af and Shiva. Caleb also had a daughter named Aksa. These were all descendants of Caleb. The sons of Hur, the oldest son of Caleb's wife, Ephrathah, were Shobal, Salma, and Hareph. The descendants of Shobal were Haroi, half of the Manahathites, and the families of Kiriath Jearim, the Ithrites, Puthites, Shumathites, and Mishrites, from whom came the people of Zorah and Eshtaol. The descendants of Salma were the people of Bethlehem and the Netophilites, Atroth Beth Joab, the other half of the Manahathites, the Zorites, and the families of scribes living at Jabez, the Tirhathites, Shemithites, and Sukathites. All were Kenites who descended from Hamath, the father of the family of Rechab. Chapter 3. These are the sons of David who were born in Hebron. The oldest was Amnon, whose mother was Ahinoam from Jezreel. The second was Daniel, whose mother was Abigail from Carmel. The third was Absalom, whose mother was Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. The fourth was Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith. The fifth was Sephatah, whose mother was Abital. The sixth was Ithream, whose mother was Eglah, David's wife. These 6 sons were born to David in Hebron, where he reigned 7.5 years. Then David reigned another 33 years in Jerusalem. The sons born to David in Jerusalem included Shammua, Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon. Their mother was Bathsheba, the daughter of Amiel. David also had 9 other sons: Ebar, Elishua, Elpelet, Noga, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Elida, and Eliphelet. These were the sons of David, not including his sons born to his concubines. Their sister was named Tamar. The descendants of Solomon were Rehoboam, Abijah, Asa, Jehoshaphat, Jeroam, Ahaziah, Joash, Amaziah, Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, Manasseh, Ammon, and Josiah. The sons of Josiah were Johanan, Jehoiakim, Zedekiah, and Jehoahaz. The successor of Jehoiakim were his son Jehoiakim and his brother Zedekiah. The sons of Jehoiakim, who was taken prisoner by the Babylonians, were Shealtiel, Malchiam, Pedaiah, Shenazar, Jechamiah, Hoshama, and Nedabiah. The sons of Pedaiah were Zerubbabel and Shimei. The sons of Zerubbabel were Meshullam and Hananiah. His 5 other sons were Hashubah, Ohel, Berechiah, Hazadiah, and Jushab Hesed. The sons of Hananiah were Pelatiah and Jeshiah. Jeshiah's sons was Rephaiah. Rephaiah's son was Arnan. Arnan's son was Obadiah. Obadiah's son was Shechaniah. The descendants of Shechaniah were Shemaiah and his sons Hattush, Igal, Bariah, Neriah, and Shaphat, 6 in all. The sons of Neriah were Elionai, Hezekiah, and Azirkam, 3 in all. The sons of Elionai were Hadoviah, Eliashib, Peliah, Akub, Jonan, Deliah, and Anai, 7 in all. Chapter 4. The descendants of Judah were Perez, Hezron, Carmi, Hur, and Shobal. Shobal's son Reiah was the father of Jahath. Jahath was the father of Ahumai and Lahad. These were the families of the Zorathites. The descendants of Atam were Jezreel, Ishma, Idbash, and their sister Hazelpani, Penuel, and Ezer. These were the descendants of Hur, the ancestor of Bethlehem. Ashur had 2 wives named Helah and Naarath. Naarah gave birth to Ahuzam, Hefer, Temni, and Haashtarai. Helah gave birth to Zereth, Izar, Ethnan, and Koz, who became the ancestor of Anub, Zoebah, and the families of Arhel, son of Harum. There was a man named Jabez who was more honorable than any of his brothers. His mother named him Jabez because his birth had been so painful. He was the one who prayed to the God of Israel, "Oh, that you would bless me and expand my territory. Please be with me in all that I do and keep me from all trouble and pain." And God granted him his request. Kelub was the father of Mehir. Mehir was the father of Eshton. Eshton was the father of Beth Rapha, Paseah, and Tehina. Tehina was the father of Ir-Nahash. These were the descendants of Rekah. The sons of Kenaz were Othniel and Sarai. Othniel's sons were Hathath and Menothai. Menothai was the father of Orphra. Sarai was the father of Joab, the founder of the Valley of Craftsmen. So because they were craftsmen, the sons of Caleb of Jephunneh were Eru, Elah, and Naam. The son of Elah was Kenaz. The sons of Jalel were Ziph, Ziphah, Tiria, and Asrael. The sons of Ezra were Jether, Mered, Epher, and Jalon. One of Mered's wives became the mother of Miriam, Shammai, and Ishba. He married a woman from Judah who became the mother of Jared, Heber, and Jechthiel. Mered also married Bithia, the daughter of Pharaoh, and she bore him children. Hodiah's wife was the sister of Nahum. One of her sons was the father of Keliah. the Garmite, and another was the father of Eshtemoa the Maacathite. The sons of Shimon were Amnon, Rina, Ben-Hanan, and Tilon. The descendants of Ishi were Zoheth and Ben-Zoheth. Shelah was one of Judah's sons. The descendants of Shelah were Zaadah, the families of linen workers at Beth Ashbea, Joachim, the men of Cozbah, and Joash and Saraph, who ruled over Moab, and Jashubilehem. These names all come from ancient records. They were the pottery makers who lived in Netim and Gederah. They lived there and worked for the king. The sons of Simeon were Jemuel, Jamin, Jarib, Zohar, and Shaul. The descendants of Shaul were Shalom, Mibsam, and Mishma. The descendants of Mishma were Hamuel, Zachar, and Shimi. Shimi had 16 sons and 6 daughters, but none of his brothers had large families. So Simeon's tribe never grew as large as the tribe of Judah. They lived in Beersheba, Moladah, Hazar Shaul, Bela, Ezem, Tolad, Bethuel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Makaboth, Hazar Susim, Beth Biri, and Sha'arim. These towns were under their control until the time of King David. Their descendants also lived in Etam, Ain, Rimmon, Token, and Ashan, 5 towns, and their surrounding villages as far away as Baalath. This was the territory, and their names are listed in their genealogical records. Other descendants of Simeon included Meshobab, Jamlech, Joha, son of Amaziah, Joel, Jehu, son of Josheba, son of Seraiah, son of Asiel, Elionai, Jacobah, Jeshohaina, Asaiah, Adiel, Jesimiel, Benaiah, and Ziza, son of Shiphi, son of Alon, son of Jediah, son of Shimri, son of Shemaiah. These were the names of some of the leaders of Simeon's wealthy clans. Their families grew and they traveled to the region of Gerar in the east part of the valley, seeking pasture land for their flocks. They found lush pastures there, and the land was spacious, quiet, and peaceful. Some of Ham's descendants had been living in that region, but during the reign of King Hezekiah of Judah, these leaders of Simeon invaded the region and completely destroyed the homes of the descendants of Ham and of the Meunites. No trace of them remains today. They killed everyone who lived there and took the land for themselves because they wanted its good pasture land for their flocks. 500 of those invaders from the tribe of Simeon went to Mount Seir, led by Palatiah, Neriah, Rephaiah, and Uzziel, all sons of Ishi. They destroyed the few Amalekites who had survived, and they have lived there ever since. Chapter 5. The oldest son of Israel was Reuben, but since he dishonored his father by sleeping with one of his father's concubines, his birthright was given to the sons of his brother Joseph. For this reason, Reuben is not listed in this genealogical records as the firstborn son. The descendants of Judah became the most powerful tribe and provided a ruler for the nation, but the birthright belonged to Joseph. The sons of Reuben, the oldest son of Israel, were Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Camri. The descendants of Joel were Shemaiah, Gog, Shimei, Micah, Raiah, Baal, and Beerah. Beerah was the leader of the Reubenites when they were taken into captivity by King Tiglath-Pileser of Assyria. Beerah's relatives are listed in their genealogical records by their clans: Jael, Zechariah, and Bela, son of Azaz, son of Shema, son of Joel. The Reubenites lived in the area that stretches from Aroer to Nebo and Baal-Menon. And since they had so many livestock in the land of Gilead, they spread east towards the edge of the desert that stretches to the Euphrates River. During the reign of Saul, the Reubenites defeated the Hagrites in battle. Then they moved into Hagrite settlements all along the eastern edge of Gilead. Next to the Reubenites, the descendants of Gad lived in the land of Bashan as far east as Salekah. Joel was the leader in the land of Bashan, and Sarpham was second in command, followed by Janai and Shaphat. Their relatives, the leaders of 7 other clans, were Michael, Meshullam, Sheba, Jorai, Jachin, Zia, and Eber. These were all descendants of Abihail, son of Huri, son of Jaroah, son of Gilead, son of Michael, son of Jeshai, son of Jado, son of Buz. Ahi, son of Abdiel, son of Guni, was the leader of their clans. The Gadites lived in the land of Gilead in Bashan and its villages, and throughout all the pasture land of Sharon. All of these were listed in the genealogical records during the days of King Jotham of Judah, King Jeroboam of Israel. There were 44,760 capable warriors in the Arban of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. They were all skilled in combat and armed with shields, swords, and bows. They waged war against the Hagrites, the Jeturites, the Naphisites, and the Nobadites. They cried out to God during the battle, and he answered their prayer because they trusted in him. So the Hagrites and all their allies were defeated. The plunder taken from the Hagrites included 50,000 camels, 250,000 sheep and goats, 2,000 donkeys, and 100,000 captives. Many of the Hagrites were killed in the battle because God was fighting against them. The people of Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh lived in their land until they were taken into exile. The half-tribe of Manasseh was very large and spread throughout the land from Bashan to Baal Hermon, Senir, and Mount Hermon. These were the leaders of their clans: Epher, Ishi, Eliel, Azriel, Jeremiah, Hodaviah, and Jadiel. These men had a great reputation as mighty warriors and leaders of their clans. But these tribes were unfaithful to the God of their ancestors. They worshiped the gods of the nations that God had destroyed. So the God of Israel caught King Pul of Assyria to invade the land and take away the people of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh as captives. The Assyrians exiled them to Hala, Habor, Hara, and the Gozan River, where they remain to this day. Chapter 6. The sons of Levi were Goshan, Kohath, and Merari. The descendants of Kohath included Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The children of Amram were Aaron, Moses, and Miriam. The sons of Aaron were Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Eleazar was the father of Phinehas. Phinehas was the father of Abishua. Abishua was the father of Buki. Buki was the father of Uzi. Uzi was the father of Zariah. Zariah was the father of Marioth. Marioth was the father of Amariah. Amariah was the father of Atub. Atub was the father of Zadok. Zadok was the father of Ahimaaz. Ahimaaz was the father of Azariah. Azariah was the father of Jonan. Jonan was the father of Azariah, the high priest at the temple built by Solomon in Jerusalem. Azariah was the father of Amariah. Amariah was the father of Ahitub. Ahitub was the father of Zadok. Zadok was the father of Shallum. Shallum was the father of Hilkiah. Hilkiah was the father of Azariah. Azariah was the father of Seraiah. Seraiah was the father of Jehozadak, who went into exile when the Lord sent the people of Jerusalem and Judah into captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. The sons of Levi were Goshen, Kohath, and Merari. The descendants of Gershon included Libni and Shemi. The descendants of Kohath included Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The descendants of Merari included Mali and Mushi. The following were the Levite clans, listed according to their ancestral descent. The descendants of Gershon included Libni, Jahath, Zima, Joah, Edo, Zerah, and Jetheri. The descendants of Kohath included Abinadab, Korah, Asir, Elkanah, Abisaph, Asir, Tehath, Uriel, Uzziah, and Shaul. The descendants of Elkanah included Amasai, Ahimoth, Elkanah, Zophai, Nahath, Eliab, Jerome, Elkanah, and Samuel. The sons of Samuel were Joel and Abijah. The descendants of Merari included Mali, Libni, Shimei, Uzzah, Shemaiah, Haggiah, and Asaiah. David assigned the following men to lead the music at the house of the Lord after the ark was placed there. They ministered with music at the tabernacle until Solomon built the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem. They carried out their work following all the regulations handed down to them. These were the men who served along with their sons. Haman, the musician, was from the clan of Kohath. His genealogy was traced back through Joel, Samuel, Elkanah, Jeroam, Eliel, Toah, Zuph, Elkanah, Mahath, Amasai, Elkanah, Joel, Azariah, Zephaniah, Tahath, Asir, Abisaph, Korah, Izar, Kohath, Levi, and Israel. Heman's first assistant was Asaph from the clan of Gershon. Asaph's genealogy was traced back through Berechiah, Shemaiah, Michael, Basaiah, Malchijah, Ethni, Zerah, Adiah, Ethan, Zima, Shimei, Jahath, Gershon, and Levi. Herman's second assistant was Ethan from the clan of Merari. Ethan's genealogy traced back through Kishi, Abdi, Maluk, Hashbiah, Amaziah, Hilkiah, Amzi, Bani, Shemer, Mali, Mushi, Merari, and Levi. Their fellow Levites were appointed to various other tasks in the tabernacle, the house of God. Only Aaron and his descendants served as priests. They presented the offerings on the altar of burnt offering and the altar of incense, and they performed all other duties related to the most holy place. They made atonement for Israel by doing everything that Moses, the servant of God, had commanded them. The descendants of Aaron were Eleazar, Phinehas, Abishua, Buki, Uzi, Zariah, Marioth, Amariah, Atiyub, Zadok, and Amayaz. Buki, Uzi, Zariah, Marioth, Amira, Ahitub, Zadok, and Amiaz. This is a record of the towns and territory assigned by means of sacred lots to the descendants of Aaron, who were from the clan of Kohath. This territory included Hebron and its surrounding pasture lands in Judah. But the fields and outlying areas belonging to the city were given to Caleb, son of Jephunneh. So the descendants of Aaron were given the following towns, each with its pasture lands: Hebron, Libnah, Jatir, Eshtemoa, Holon, Debir, Ain, Juttah, and Beth Shemesh. And from the territory of Benjamin they were given Gibeon, Geba, Alemeth, and Anathoth, each with its pasture lands. So 13 towns were given to the descendants of Aaron. The remaining descendants of Kohath received 10 towns from the territory of the half-tribe of Manasseh by means of sacred lots. The descendants of Gershon received by sacred lots 13 towns from the territories of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and from Bashan, area of Manasseh east of the Jordan. The descendants of Merari received the sacred lots, 12 towns from the territories of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. So the people of Israel assigned all these towns and pasture lands to the Levites. The towns in the territories of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin mentioned above were assigned to them by means of sacred lots. The descendants of Kohath were given the following towns from the territory of Ephraim, each with its pasture lands: Shechem, Gezer, Jokmeam, Beth Horon, Aijalon, and Gath Rimmon. The remaining descendants of Kohath were assigned the towns of Anir and Belim from the territory of the half-tribe of Manasseh, each with its pasture lands. The descendants of Gershon received the towns of Golan and Ashtaroth from the territory of the half-tribe of Manasseh, each with its pasture lands. From the territory of Issachar they were given Kadesh, Dabirath, Ramoth, and Anem, each with its pasture lands. From the territory of Asher they received Mashal, Abdon, Humok, and Rehob, each with its pasture lands. From the territory of Naphtali they were given Kadesh and Galilee, Hamon, and Kiriathim, each with its pasture lands. The remaining descendants of Merari received the towns of Jokneam, Karta, Rimmon, and Tabor from the territory of Zebulun, each with its pasture lands. From the territory of Reuben, east of the Jordan River, opposite of Jericho, they received Bezer, Jahaz, Kedemoth, and Mephaath, each with its pasture lands. And from the territory of Gad, they received Ramoth and Gilead, Mahanim, Heshbon, and Jazer, each with its pasture lands. Chapter 7. The four sons of Issachar were Tola, Puah, Jahub, and Shimron. The sons of Tola were Uzi, Rephaiah, Jeriel, Jamai, Ibsam, and Shemuel. Each of them was the leader of an ancestral clan at that time of King David. The total number of mighty warriors listed in the records of those clans was 22,600. The son of Uzi was Izariah. The son of Izariah were Michael, Obadiah, Joel, and Isai. These five became the leaders of clans. All of them had many wives and many sons, so the total number of men available for military service among their descendants was 36,000. The total number of mighty warriors from all the clans of the tribe of Issachar was 87,000. All of them were listed in their genealogical records. 3 of Benjamin's sons were Bela, Becher, and Jediel. The 5 sons of Bela were Ezbon, Uzi, Uziel, Jerimoth, and Eri. Each of them was the leader of an ancestral clan. The total number of mighty warriors from these clans was 22,034, as listed in their genealogical records. The sons of Becher were Zemira, Joash, Eleazar, Elionai, Omri, Jeremoth, Abijah, Anathoth, and Elimeth. Each of them was the leader of an ancestral clan. The total number of mighty warriors and leaders from these clans was 20,200, as listed in their genealogical records. The son of Jediel was Bilhan. The sons of Bilhan were Jeush, Benjamin, Ehud, Kenaa, Zethan, Tarshish, and Ahishar. Each of them was the leader of an ancestral clan. From these clans, the total number of mighty warriors ready for war was 17,200. The sons of Ir were Shupim and Hupim. Hushim was the son of Air. The sons of Naphtali were Jaziel, Guni, Jezer, and Shilim. They were all the descendants of Jacob's concubine Bilhah. The descendants of Manasseh through his Aramean concubine included Asriel. She also bore Machir, the father of Gilead. Machir found wives for Hupim and Shupim. Machir had a sister named Maacah. One of his descendants was Zelophehad, who had only daughters. Machir's wife, Maacah, gave birth to a son whom she named Peresh. His brother's name was Sheresh. The sons of Peresh were Ulam and Rakim. The sons of Ulam was Beden. All these were considered Gileadites, descendants of Machir, son of Manasseh. Machir's sister, Hamoleketh, gave birth to Ishhad, Abizer, and Malah. The sons of Shemida were Ain, Shechem, Likhi, and Anaim. The descendants of Ephraim were Shethullah, Bered, Tahath, Eliad, Tahath, Zabad, Shuthleah, Ezer, Eliad. These two were killed trying to steal livestock from a local farmer near Gath. Their father, Ephraim, mourned for them a long time, and his relatives came to comfort him. Afterward, Ephraim slept with his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. Ephraim named him Beriah, because of the tragedy his family had suffered. He had a daughter named Sheirah. She built the towns of Lower and Upper Bethron and Uzen Shiran. The descendants of Ephraim included Repha, Resheph, Telah, Tahan, Ladan, Amihud, Elishama, Nun, and Joshua. The descendants of Ephraim lived in the territory that included Bethel and its surrounding towns to the south, Naaran to the east, Gezer and its villages to the west, and Shechem and its surrounding villages to the north as far as Aiah and its towns. Along the border of Manasseh were the towns of Beth Shan, Ta'anak, Megiddo, Dor, and the surrounding villages. The descendants of Joseph, son of Israel, lived in these towns. The sons of Asher were Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah. They had a sister named Sarah. The sons of Beriah were Heber and Malkiel. The sons of Heber were Jephlet, Shomer, and Hotham. They had a sister named Shua. The sons of Japhlet were Pashak, Bimla, and Ashvath. The sons of Shomer were Ahi, Roga, Hubba, and Aram. The sons of his brother Helem were Zophah, Imnah, Shelesh, and Amal. The sons of Jophah were Shua, Harepher, Shual, Beri, Imrah, Bezer, Hod, Shama, Shilisha, Ithran, and Bera. The sons of Jether were Jephunneh, Pisphah, and Ara. The sons of Ulah were Ara, Haniel, and Raziah. Each of these descendants of Asher was the head of an ancestral clan. They were all select, mighty warriors and outstanding leaders. The total number of men available for military service was 26,000, as listed in their genealogical records. Chapter 8. Benjamin's first son was Bela. The second was Ashbel. The third was Aharah. The fourth was Noha, and the fifth was Rapha. The sons of Bela were Adar, Gera, Abihud, Abishua, Naaman, Ahoah, Gera, Shephufan, and Huram. The sons of Ehud, leaders of the clans living at Geba, were exiled to Manahath. Ehud's sons were Naaman, Ahijah, and Gera. Gera, who led them into exile, was the father of Uzzah and Ahilud. After Shaharim divorced his wife, Hushim and Bara, he had children in the land of Moab. His wife, Hodesh, gave birth to Jobab, Zibiah, Mesha, Malcolm, Jeuz, Sakiah, and Mirma. These sons all became the leaders of clans. Shaharim's wife, Hushim, had already given birth to Abitub and Elpaal. The sons of Elpaal were Eber, Misham, Shemed, Beriah, and Shema. They were the leaders of the clans living in Ajalon, and they drove out the inhabitants of Gath. Ahio, Shashak, Jeremoth, Zebediah, Arad, Eder, Michael, Ishpa, and Joah were the sons of Beriah. Zebediah, Meshullam, Hizki, Heber, Ishmerai, Izlai, and Jobab were the sons of Elpaal. Jakim, Zikri, Zabdi, Elianai, Zelethai, Eliel, Adiah, Beriah, and Shimirath were the sons of Shimei. Ishpan, Eber, Eliel, Abdon, Zikri, Hanan, Haniah, Elam, Athothijah, Ephadiah, and Penuel were the sons of Shashak. Shamsherai, Shahira, Athaliah, Ja'arashiah, Elijah, and Zikri were the sons of Jeroam. These were the leaders of the ancestral clans. They were listed in their genealogical records, and they all lived in Jerusalem. Jael lived in the town of Gibeon. His wife's name was Ma'akah, and the oldest son was Abdon. Jael's other sons were Zur, Kish, Baal, Ner, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zechariah, and Mikloth, who was the father of Shemim. All these families lived near each other in Jerusalem. Ner was the father of Kish. Kish was the father of Saul. Saul was the father of Jonathan, Mekishua, Abinadab, and Eshbaal. Jonathan was the father of Merib-Baal. Merib-Baal was the father of Micah. Micah was the father of Pithon, Melech, Tahriah, and Ahaz. Ahaz was the father of Jada. Jada was the father of Emeleth, Azmaveth, and Zimri. Zimri was the father of Moza. Moza was the father of Beniah. Beniah was the father of Rephadiah. Rephadiah was the father of Elisa. Eliesa was the father of Aziel. Aziel had 6 sons: Ezrakim, Bokeru, Ishmael, Shariah, Obadiah, and Hanan. These were the sons of Aziel. Aziel's brother Eshek had 3 sons. The first was Ulam, the second was Jeush, and the third was Eliphelet. Ulam's sons were all mighty warriors and expert archers. They had many sons and grandsons, 150 in all. All these were descendants of Benjamin. Chapter 9. So all Israel was listed in the genealogical records in the books of the kings of Israel. The people of Judah were exiled to Babylon because they were unfaithful to the Lord. The first of the exiles to return to their property in their former towns were priests, Levites, temple servants, and other Israelites. Some of the people from the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, and Manasseh came and settled in Jerusalem. One family that returned was that of Uttai, son of Ammihud, son of Omri, son of Imri, son of Bani, a descendant of Perez, son of Judah. Others returned from the Shilonite clan, including Asaiah and his sons from the Zerite clan. Jeuel returned with his relatives. In all, 690 families from the tribe of Judah returned. From the tribe of Benjamin came Salu, son of Meshullam, son of Hodaviah, son of Hasenua, Ebeniah, son of Jeroam, Elah, son of Uzi, son of Mikri, and Meshullam, son of Shephatiah, son of Reuel, son of Ibnijah. These men were all leaders of clans, and they were listed in their genealogical records. In all, 956 families from the tribe of Benjamin returned. Among the priests who returned were Jediah, Jehoiarib, Jakin, Azariah, son of Hilkiah, son of Meshullam, son of Zadok, son of Merioth, son of Ahitub. Azariah was the chief officer of the house of God. Other returning priests were Adiah, son of Jeroham, son of Pashur, son of Malchijah, and Maasi, son of Adiel, son of Jazerah, son of Meshullam, son of Meshilemith, son of Emer. In all, 1,760 priests returned. They were heads of clans and very able men. They were responsible for ministering to the house of God. The Levites who returned were Shemaiah, son of Hashub, son of Ezrikam, son of Hashbiah, a descendant of Merari, Bakbakar, Heresh, Galal, Matina, son of Micah, son of Zikri, son of Asaph, Obadiah, son of Shemaiah, son of Galal, son of Jeduthun, and Berechiah, son of Asa, son of Elkanah, who lived in the area of Netophah. The gatekeepers who returned were Shallum, Akub, Talmon, Ahiman, and their relatives. Shallum was the chief gatekeeper. Prior to this time, they were responsible for the king's gate on the east side. These men served as gatekeepers for the camps of the Levites. Shallum was the son of Curet, a descendant of Abiasaph from the clan of Korah, and his relatives, the Korites, were responsible for guarding the entrance to the sanctuary, just as their ancestors had guarded the tabernacle in the camp of the Lord. Phinehas, son of Eleazar, had been in charge of the gatekeepers in earlier times, and the Lord had been with him. And later, Zechariah, son of Meshelemiah, was responsible for guarding the entrance to the tabernacle. In all, there were 212 gatekeepers in those days, and they were listed according to the genealogies of their villages. David and Samuel, the seer, had appointed their ancestors because they were reliable men. These gatekeepers and their descendants, by their divisions, were responsible for guarding the entrance to the house of the Lord when the house was a tent. The gatekeepers were stationed on all four sides, east, west, north, and south. Their relatives in the villages came regularly to share their duties for 7-day periods. The four chief gatekeepers, all Levites, were trusted officials, for they were responsible for the rooms and treasuries at the house of God. They would spend the night around the house of God, since it was their duty to guard it and to open the gates every morning. Some of the gatekeepers were assigned to care for the various articles used in worship. They checked them in and out to avoid any loss. Others were responsible for the furnishings, the items in the sanctuary, and the supplies, such as choice flour, wine, olive oil, frankincense, and spices. But it was the priests who blended the spices. Matitha, a Levite, was the oldest son of Shallum, a Korite, was entrusted with baking the bread used in the offerings. And some members of the clan of Kohath were in charge of preparing the bread to be set on the table each Sabbath day. The musicians, all prominent Levites, lived in the temple. They were exempt from other responsibilities since they were on duty at all hours. All these men lived in Jerusalem. They were the heads of Levite families and were listed as prominent leaders in their genealogical records. Jael, the father of Gideon, lived in the town of Gibeon. His wife's name was Maacah, and the oldest son was Abdon. Jael's other sons were Zur, Kish, Baal, Ner, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zechariah, and Mikloth. Mikloth was the father of Shemim. All these families lived near each other in Jerusalem. Ner was the father of Kish. Kish was the father of Saul. Saul was the father of Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, and Eshbaal. Jonathan was the father of Merib-Baal. Merib-Baal was the father of Micah. The sons of Micah were Pithon, Melech, Tariah, and Ahaz. Ahaz was the father of Jada. Jada was the father of Elimeth, Azmaveth, and Zimri. Zimri was the father of Moza. Moza was the father of Beniah. Beniah's sons were Rephaiah. Rephaiah's son was Elisah. Elisah was the son of Azel. Azel had 6 sons, whose names were Azrikam, Bokeru, Ishmael, Shariah, Obadiah, and Hanan. These were the sons of Azel. Thank you for joining us as we read through the entire Bible together. If this was a blessing to you, let's go ahead and now be the blessing for someone else today. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. And we at Gainesville Seventh-day Adventist Church will see you tomorrow. Be blessed. Bye-bye.